They laughed at you. They said you weren't strong enough, smart enough, good enough. They said the world doesn't work that way. That dreams like yours don't survive the real world. They told you to slow down, to settle, to be realistic. But here you are, still standing, still moving, still chasing something bigger than their imagination could ever handle. Because deep down, you weren't made to live small. You weren't built for permission. You were born for the kind of life that makes the whole world turn and stare. Not out of ego, not for attention, but because there's a fire in your chest that refuses to go out. And the louder they told you no, the more you decided to go anyway. You're not interested in their opinions. You're interested in truth, in freedom, in becoming exactly who you said you'd become before anyone believed it. Because belief doesn't start outside you, it starts within. And you believed in the mission before it made sense, before the support, before the spotlight. And that's what makes you unstoppable. You don't move for praise, you move with purpose. You failed, been laughed at, left behind, and still you keep going. That's strength, that's will. That's something they can't measure, can't predict, and can't break. Let them talk, let them doubt, let them stare. Because every step you take in silence is building the future they said you'd never reach. And when you arrive, you won't need to say a word. Your actions will echo, your journey will speak. And all the voices that once told you you can't will be drowned out by one undeniable truth. You did it, not because they gave you a chance, not because it was easy, not because the road opened wide and welcomed you in. You did it because you refused to quit. You kept going when most would have folded. You kept building when you had no blueprint. You kept showing up when all you had was grit and a gut feeling that this, all of this, was going to mean something. And now, every scar is a receipt. Every sacrifice a seed. Every silent night where you kept pushing instead of sleeping, it's paying off. They thought your silence was surrender. They thought your patience was weakness. They thought your vision was a phase. But that's the thing, they thought. You knew. You knew who you were becoming. You knew what it would cost. And you signed up anyway, full heart, clear eyes, no backup plan. Because you weren't just chasing a dream. You were answering a calling. And callings don't go away just because people don't get it. They burn, they echo, they haunt you until you move. And now that you're moving, now that momentum is yours, they can't look away. But you're not here for their applause. You're here for your legacy. You're not proving them wrong. You're proving yourself right. Because you remember the version of you that almost quit. The version of you that bent under pressure. That questioned if it was all worth it. And now you carry them with you, not as shame, but as fuel. Because every version of you that doubted, feared, hesitated, still showed up. That's why you're here. That's why you win. And let's be clear, this isn't the finish line. This is the launch pad. Because now you're not just surviving, you're building. You're building something that doesn't just outlast the noise, it erases it. You're building a name that doesn't need to be shouted, because your results speak louder than anything you could say. And the same people who told you to slow down, now they want to know how you move so fast. The same ones who said you weren't ready, now they're asking how you stayed ready while everything fell apart. But let them wonder. Let them stare. Because while they waited for certainty, you built with faith. While they waited for signs, you became one. While they waited for someone to follow, you became the leader you needed. You don't owe them explanations, you owe them silence. Let your work talk, let your habits talk, let your discipline talk. And when they ask, how did you do it? Just smile. Because truth is simple. You didn't listen when they doubted. You listened when your soul said, go. You listened when your soul said, go. Even when the path was dark. Even when the weight felt unbearable. Even when it would have been easier to turn around. But easy was never the goal. Impact was. And now, you don't move like you used to. You don't shrink. You don't wait. You don't explain. Because you've become something rare. A person who kept building when no one clapped. A person who found power in stillness. A person who didn't just believe in the outcome. They became the outcome. That's the part they never see. They see the wins, not the war. They see the glow, not the grind. They see the strength, but not the nights you spent breaking, rebuilding, and breaking again. But that's okay, because you didn't do this to be seen. You did this to become undeniable. And now, you walk different, because you earned it. You speak different, because your words carry weight. You move different, because every step is purpose-built. You don't chase validation anymore. You don't wait for green lights. You don't check if it's okay to dream bigger. You just go. And if you lose sleep, let it be from ambition, not anxiety. If you feel pain, let it be from growth, not guilt. If you feel fear, let it remind you that the next level is close. Because now you understand. Fear is a compass. Pain is a teacher. Discipline is your weapon. And you're no longer the one looking up for direction. You're the one carving the path. So when the next wave of resistance hits, you won't pray for calm. You'll step in deeper and say, this is where I rise again. Because your foundation isn't built on ease. It's built on conviction. And that conviction, it doesn't crack under pressure. It sharpens. So let them watch. Let them wonder. Let them try to understand how someone who had every reason to quit kept going. You don't need them to get it. You just need them to feel it when you walk in the room. Because presence is earned. And yours, it's undeniable. So no, this isn't your peak. This is your rise. And if they thought what you've done already was impressive, they haven't seen what happens when you stop holding back. Because now, you're not chasing dreams, you're executing destiny. You're not proving a point, you're building a legacy. You're not walking in to be noticed, you're walking in to take over. So keep your head down. Keep your fire lit. Keep your foot on the gas. And when the world finally catches up to who you've become, don't slow down. Don't look back. Don't explain. Just let them feel the weight of what happens when a soul refuses to quit. Because you didn't come to play small. You came to make history. And when history speaks, it remembers the relentless.